Bots as a service open doors for cyber criminals in the global south. Affordable threats grow, but can the same tech offer protection? Well, we leave that to our guest to answer. Hello and welcome to the conversation. My name is Na Oyokwote. Today, my guest is a cybersecurity expert. He is Daniel Jeremiah. Hello, Daniel. You're welcome to the conversation.
Hi, Nad. Thank you very much for having me. My name is Daniel Jeremiah, and I'm going to join you with this.
All right. Good to have you here. So we are going straight into our topic for the day, which is bots as a service, which is threatening the global south. So we know that attacks, we are going to look at the bigger picture right now. So we see that attacks are now cheaper, faster, and more available off the shelf, as tech experts will put it. So I would like to hear your take on how bots as a service change cyber attacks.
Bot as a service or BAS, I don't know how people pronounce it out there, but he has transformed cybercrime from small bespoke operation into a rent-driven cloud-like economy. So if I allow attackers to actually outsource complexity, launching attack at a scale without building a maintenance infrastructure. So before it was difficult to do, but now it became more easy. So, but before we dive into it, there's all sort of bot as a service. There's one called DDoS for hire, credential-stuffing, phishing as a service, click fraud, and ad, and etc. There's a lot of them like this. So it have changed the way we operate nowadays because it's easy to get now. For example, you see people that have less skill set can easily purchase this stuff from internet. So if you look back to some report we have recently, Akamai was found that the financial services alone saw like almost 154% rise in DDoS attack in 2023 only. So this shows that this attack actually happened often.
Oh wow. That's interesting. And it looks like it's having an impact on weaker actors, like I mentioned earlier, the global south. So why are under-resourced groups using these tools?
That's
Why
a very
is it
good
so
question.
appealing? Yeah, why is it so appealing to them?
Yeah, under-resourced actors are drawn to BAS because it provides reach, anonymity, and affordability. So the threat group that once needed to have infrastructure skills or can now rent botnet for like a few dollars per hour. So a really one example occur in Latin America, where a financial services suffered a 60 gigabyte per second DDoS attack, allowing a ransom demand. So the attacker simply paid for access to a ready-made botnet, for example, and they were able to use it to hack this bank. And another scenario is in Nigeria. You can see several Telegram groups, offer these services for like 50%, 50 pounds, for example, $50 or 50 Ghana cedis. So it's easy to buy, it's easy to deploy, and it's easy to use. So this model is appealing because it delivers outsized result for the minimum skill, set. You don't have to have a very skillful anymore. They can buy this and use it as a ready-made already. And according to a 2024 group IB analysis, over 1/3 of all the botnet renters globally originated from development countries. So it's highlighting how accessible the model has become. The result is easy for them to use, easy for them to deploy, and it's easy target. So that is why they keep going. Easy to buy. So if they can spend like $20, $30 to buy it, so it's easy for them to use. So I think that's the most important.
Okay, so this means that anyone in his room, in the corner of his room somewhere, can just be operating the system with as low as 50 Ghana cedis, or let's say 1,000 naira.
Yeah, they can operate it anywhere as far they have internet. And in fact, some services offer it for some hours. So you can get it for like 3 hours, 4 hours if you don't have enough money. So you can keep reducing the money for you. So it is very easy to access nowadays. And you can see them in telegrams, dark market, and etc.
Oh. What risk do global south governments face here?
Government in the global south face a lot of, let me say, dual exposure. They are both primary target and unwitting enablers of global botnet. So we can look at critical online portals, such as like digital ID, tax website, public service platforms. These are all highly visible targets. At the same time, the region abundance of poor secure routers or IoT devices provide the attacker with like good rentable infrastructures they can use. So we can look back into what happened in Kenya in 2023 around that July. So there was a Kenya DDoS campaign that happens by a group called Anonymous Sudan. They even claimed the attack. So the attack disrupted the e-citizen portal and all the Kenya power supply, the Safaricom's, M-Pesa, and multiple banks, affecting millions of citizens. So for this, national services were either offline or degraded. So if you look at the impact this have with a large group of government, it's also alarming. So if you look at the report around Cloudflare 2025 Q1 report, it recorded a similar spike in Africa and South America with almost 260% increase in application layer, targeting only government infrastructures. So for small businesses, the challenge is scalability rather than awareness. So they cannot deploy large security measures like SOC and etc., but they can use all this open source stuff. So it's affecting a lot, and it's making the people having less trust with the services that government is providing. If you look at it, recently in UK, there was a announcement that they're going to implement digital ID. A lot of people are having thinking like, oh, it's not secure. I don't want to use it. What if they hack us and stuff like that? So people have less trust with these services because of the attacks such as Kenya DDoS campaign that affected millions of citizens.
Mm. Okay. So it means that it's even possible to enter into sensitive, let me say, documents or information from public institutions.
Yes, because the most thing you look at it is that before it is difficult to have, but now it's easy to have because the attacker can now people with low skill can now go and buy these services for $50. So there's something we call rat as a service as well. So rat as a service is like the remote Trojan access they used to use. So they can also use that. Now the most alarming thing is that the majority of the IoT infrastructure that government uses, they're outdated. So that is why the attacker try to focus on that. Okay, they look at the devices they have public available, they are outdated, like 2020, for example, most of them are still running like 2007 operating system. So it's easy for them to use those to go after those vulnerable IoT devices they have installed. So that is why they go after government
Okay.
infrastructures.
Okay. How can small businesses cope with limited budget, especially without, overspending or stretching themselves?
Mm.
But they also need to protect themselves. It looks like they are also, targets one way or the other.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. So for small businesses, the challenges is scalability and awareness, like I said last time. So they cannot deploy enterprise socks because they are they increasingly the target, like they're very expensive. Yet they are increasingly targeted by automated bots, for instance, probing login portals or APIs and etc. So the practical solution lies in the cloud native visibilities and automation. So platforms like Google, Chronicle, Microsoft Sentinel, Elastic Security, and etc. They offer something like a SIEM as a service as well. A lot of managed security service providers as well as are available they can use, which are not that expensive. They can leverage and they can make sure that they can deploy like a top grade security solutions to stop these, or deploy like Cloudflare, WAF, to stop automations and all etc. So they can also combine with well already made like CSAT intelligent fields, which are provided by government sometimes. So this small business can also leverage this cost-effective way to see and stop something like BAS, for instance. So the key here is that it's not about spending more, but it is about sharing, correlating, and also responding faster.
Oh, okay. So it's not, so it means that despite some of these tech tools or advanced security tools are expensive, you are
Mhm.
encouraging SMEs or small businesses to invest in them.
Yes, because when you look at it, the if you don't invest in them, the effect is also worse. So for small businesses, you don't want to you don't want to close after you open for a while. So security is paramount. Security is important, and you want to keep your customer safe. You want to keep your customer happy because when security happens, sometimes it's not always about uh the financial side. It's about the reputation as well. So as a small business, you don't want to lose a reputation. So investing in a scalable method, like for example, you can opt in if you don't want to have like in-house, you can afford like for example, managed security provider. If that's too expensive, you can have in-house, which is less expensive and less costly expensive. So you can opt in for something small. But if they totally ignore security and thinking that they don't have money for it, they don't have budget for it, but when the attack happens, it will cost them more.
Are there specific businesses that are attacked?
We see a lot of this heavily linked back to finance sector, but especially for bars, because the report I was looking to the for example the Akamai Financial Service DDoS report 2024, this one shows that 35% of all recorded DDoS attack in that year were directed to bank and fintechs platforms.
Okay, okay.
In West Africa, in West Africa, mobile money services such as like M-Pesa and also Momo, I think Momo is very, very widely used. They face continuously automated credential stuffing attack that seek to drain account in small increment to avoid detections over the time. So we can see how these things have been playing impact already in financial sectors. But this is for bars only, for the report I'm talking about.
Mhm. Okay, so so from what you said, these industries are very vital to many global South economies. And I was doing a research and I realized that no, it's not just finance sectors, but also they target travel sectors as well. So
Yes,
what makes
yes.
them such attractive targets for bots?
Uh, Looking at the travel sectors, for example, when before an attacker can happen, they normally look at the benefit they're gonna get. So they have a target, they have a goal, they have an objective before they carry out these things. So a threat actors will not just randomly pick a sectors. They believe it's gonna have money, they're gonna have benefit for them. For example, the travel sectors that you mentioned, it offer a rich identity, data, and a reputation leverage. So you can see if they attack them, they can get more from it. So you can see, you can link back to one incident that happened actually. They called them Lazarus Bear Armada campaign. So the attack airline and travel booking portals were also overwhelmed with synthetic traffic last couple of years. So they disrupt the availability and harvest user credentials. So I would say both industries heavily interconnected because they use heavily APIs and third-party process and third-party payment gateway and all etc. So these are very crucial, and the impact it has it's large. For example, we see recently that there's some airline company I don't want to mention. They were not able to book flight, and people are stuck in the airport. So that kind of impact is what make the threat actor happy because they can see that it is affecting large group of people, and the news is also talking about it. And when we look at the financial side of a thing, if when they have success, it has a global impact. People cannot withdraw money, people cannot go to bank, people cannot make transactions. So those impact is very critical for them because they want to maximize the tools they have to get a good success rate.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, so with regards to the targeting, so attackers can buy tools. So if attackers
Yeah,
can buy tools, I believe defenders should also be able to buy if they can afford it for as cheap as $50, 50 CDs, 50
yeah,
naira, 100 naira, could as a service model also strengthen these defenses.
absolutely. I agree absolutely. So the same elasticity that the attacker have. or the same techniques they use, defender can also leverage that. So let's take this bus as a service, for instance, for example. So let's look at the cloud delivery DDoS mitigation that we already have in place. So we already have a lot of security in place already to mitigate this. But remember, these services are all, majority of them are hard to implement, and majority of them are also expensive for small business, like we talked earlier. But we already have like, for example, DDoS mitigations, MDR, threat intelligence as a service. So we also have these things in place. But can also link it back to the Rwanda government. They use Microsoft Azure for AI, so to protect DDoS detections. And in Latin America, you can see other banks are also adopting it. But what I used to actually advocating for is that we can always stay ahead as a defender. So there's something I used to always say about, because nowadays we can see AI is rising, and believe me or not, these tools we're talking about can be created by AI now. So they don't have to even buy it anymore. They can create it by themselves because the AI has ability to write the code for them and able to use it. So I always urge security provider SMEs to use AI to fight AI. And when I say that, people start saying, "Oh, a lot of people don't even trust this AI that much because it's just a new evolution." So people are having some mistrust about it. People said it's not accurate and etc. Nevertheless, I agree to somewhat, but the fear of using AI is making us less effective because the attackers are not even afraid to use it. So I always advise people to use AI to fight AI because the things they are creating now from the AI is more sophisticated than before. So we can look at some AI that can do this for us. For example, we can use deep learning anomaly detections where we can identify non-human behavior to detect bad traffics. And the other one I really love or enjoying exploring is called generative adversary networks, GANs. So they can simulate a new bot tactics and pre-train detections model before the real attack even happens. So what that means is that we can train the machine model with some data set, and we can now create a new variant of data set that have not even emerged yet. So before the attackers, we already put the protection in places. So there's a lot of things we can do at the moment to actually counter that as well. And we also have something we call reinforcement learning firewalls. So those ones they are just relatively made in a machine learning based level. So we can respond automatically. So these techniques are especially valuable to the global south itself, where data sets are limited, because I know majority of African countries are still underdeveloped. So with this kind of capability and tools, so with this kind of like a generative adversary network, they can be able to synthesize data, uh, train the machine learning in place already before the attack even happens. And these are widely used in Western world. So through this federated learning and also collaboration with CSAT and a bit to also and the last thing is not even all these tools is fine, but the people that will process it. And I always say when we train our people, for example, expanding this whole machine learning, AI, fighting AI, all these things also require people. So if you can train our people from primary school, secondary school, university, advocate that the youth should explore AI, explore cybersecurity. It's not only helping us, but in the future we will see people rising and building systems that can detect and protect our country as a whole.
We are looking at the human consequences. How might both online trust affect online trust in emerging markets?
It's a good one. Behind numbers, there are people. Bots directly affect public trust, like I mentioned earlier in my conversations with you, which underpin the digital transformations. So after the Kenyan DDoS attack, for example, citizens were very unable to renew license, make payments for several days. Many questions the reliability of online government in India and Bangladesh. Automated bots, for example, spreading fake review and fraudulent promotions have reduced consumer trust in local e-commerce platforms. So a major barrier to digital economic growth as well. And according to the World Bank 2024, if I remember, Digital Adaptation Index, It also shows that the regions that experience repeated cyber attack or disruptions see up to 12% decline in e-service adaptation within 6 months. So this shows that the botnet do not just cost money, they slow national digital progress. And also maintaining trust, therefore, require both technical resilience and transparency. Fast recovery, public communications, and accountability are just crucial as technology itself. So that's what I would say.
A follow-up question on this. So you see, for many first-time internet users in the global south, bots often shape what they see and experience. Okay.
Mhm.
So what does it mean for digital adoption?
What do you mean by what they see and what they experience?
So bots usually, for first-time users, internet users,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
global
yeah.
south, the bots usually shape what they see. So they go on internet.
Oh, okay.
It's not even humans who have put what they see on the internet, but as a result of bots. Yes.
I understand what you're saying now. It could mislead a lot, and I think that's why we always say that internet is not a safe place. We're not, because anything can be put anything out there. So you have to be very careful the information you digest and what you believe. We have seen where reviews were like very, very written by a bot, and all reviews were negative. And we normally say that you are what you eat in terms of what you digest, what you put in. So when you read some stuff online, you need to be very, very careful how you like assimilate that quickly and believe in it. I've seen a scenario whereby some people read some bad news and they collapse because of tension, and the bad news was actually not real, it was fake news. So our ability to be cautious with what we trust online is very, very important, because I value real life experiences more than on internet, because anyone can sit behind the chair. Sometimes it's bots, sometimes it's AI nowadays, and they can just put anything there. In fact, looking at what AI can do nowadays, I'm more cautious about what I believe. We can see the rise of deepfake, where you see your pictures or videos being used to ask for money, and it's not even real, and it look real. You can't even distinguish between true or false. So ability to trust what you see personally in real life is, I think, is much important, because internet is turning to a virtual reality now.
Mm, mm. All right. So thank you very much, Daniel Jeremiah. Do you have any final words or maybe a summary of everything that has been said?
Yeah, thank you very much. Now it's my pleasure to be here. Like I mentioned earlier, I think my final one would be like looking at the how we can add, like the global south can like maneuver over bot as a service, as a whole. So the things I will probably some are like the regional threat intelligence exchange here. So the government can collect all these IOCs, all these botnet indicators, and train AI again, because I know Africa is one of the most important country that's very, very, very close to my heart, because I'm from Nigeria. So ability to develop our country's ability to rise more youth, hungry youth that want to learn AI, learn security, learn programming is very, very important as well. So maybe advocating for this as a whole. Government, I know government already put a lot of programs in places to send some youth to school and all that. So that would be very, very important. And also preparing for AI, because AI is already here. It's not something that people dream of. And ability to leverage them for our defense is very important, because attackers are already using them to attack. So yeah, that one I will also add. And also maybe if I can add, the last thing is that defending is doable. It's not something that is a myth. We have been where defending is doable with defending depth. So government or individual should not be worried about the security. The most important thing is awareness, because you are blind to what you don't know. So the moment you know, just make an actions on it. And I'm also encouraging thousands, millions of youth in Africa, especially, to see how they can exploit AI, because you can learn anything nowadays with AI as well. Learn how to use it so you can protect and work and protect the country in the future. I think that's all I was sum as a whole.
Right. Thank you very much, Daniel Jeremiah. Thank you so much for your insightful submissions. We are glad to have you on the conversation.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
That's it for the conversation, where questions lead to clarity and clarity leads to change. Until next time, keep questioning. My name is Na Oyukwoti. Thank you for watching.